to watch from the stands?
Yeah, tough watch. Particularly first half, you know. I think it's fair to say that Birmingham dominated without the ball. Not a phrase used that often, but do you know what I mean? Sat in that block, 4-4-2, similar to how we'd done it last year, really, and we sort of played around the houses. Our distances were too big in possession, didn't move the ball quick enough, took too many touches, and of course that leads itself to playing into their hands. And I watched them play against Swansea like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they'd done exactly the same thing. And on that counter, they're primed, and they were good today. And in the first half, a combination of them being good and us being not at it as individuals and as a team, tactically and technically, led to potentially what should have been maybe a 3-1 lead for them at half time.
Are you concerned there's a bit of a pattern developing and that you're having to make substitutions to liven up home or make them more potent home performances?
I think it's where we are, mate, if I'm honest. Like, I think that we you know what I mean, we've got players that are bright, that are busy. I think some players are still stretched at this level. Like, and what I mean by that is in the consistency stakes. But we've also got some really talented players, and like we've always said before, it's a young group. There's no offence to be taken off, do you know what I mean, at half time or whatever, but I've got to do something, haven't I? Do you know what I mean? It's in my control to try and give us a bit of impetus, a bit of energy and a bit of attitude. And to be fair, second half, we did. The goal's a killer. Referee, again, has been poor. We know that they block the outside man. We communicate that to the fourth official. The players communicate that to the referee. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to stop a block, but they've got to do their research. They're full time now. You know what I mean? They've got to understand what goes on.
That someone was blocked off.
Yeah, it's a block. Yeah, Bassano gets blocked. You know what I mean? And like we knew it was happening. We worked on it. We articulate it to the players. The two staff articulate it to the fourth official. The players tell the ref it's just about to happen, and yet the ref allows it to happen and doesn't give anything.
At the other end, he pulled up quite.
He was happy. He was happy, mate, to every little touch. And by the way, you look at one of their fouls, because I'm sat up there, fortunately, with the replays, and honestly, if I'd have had a weapon, I might have used it.
Don't get yourself another gun. I'm just thinking that there is a little bit of a pattern just developing that second half performances here are better than first ones for whatever reason. I mean, you've got to start on the front foot more, haven't you?
Lock that for me, mate.
In game.
Yeah, it's all good and well saying that, but again, you've seen a lot of games yourself. You know, there's an opposition, and in any war, if you like, or game, do you know what I mean? Both sides think they can win. And they came with a game plan, and we wasn't smart enough, tactically good enough, or technically good enough to kill them off today. And they're a good side. Do you know what I mean? They're whatever they are now, 7th, 8th for a reason. And it just goes to show if you ain't got enough doing the basics well, you can have a poor half. And to be fair, second half, killer time for the goal. Because, you know what I mean, we make the changes, the boys have a go. We probably had 25 box entries in the second half to like maybe 3 or 4 in the first half. So I was pleased with that. I was pleased with the subs that came on. I thought they were bright. You know what I mean? They gave it a go, and that's all you can ask. But the damage was done in my eyes in the first half with our sloppy play.
Is there no reaction from Saturday's game?
Well,
in your mind at all?
I thought a couple looked leggy, I'll be honest with you. Like, they said they weren't after the game, but like if I assess the technical data, it's no excuse because we had the option to make changes. But that was, I think, the third highest total distance since I've been at the football club. One of those was Man United, and I think the other one was Man City. So that Norwich game was end to end, yeah. So But we flew back, you know what I mean, the club done everything right, so again, no excuses on recovery, and I just thought a couple of them were running in treacle.
Lee, you said there the two subs impressed you. Could they have started today? What was you thinking on the changes you made? There was three.
Yeah, my thinking, of course they could have started today. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I don't think my team selection was wrong. Genuinely, I'm not going into it going, oh no, I wish I'd have made different changes or whatever. But at the same time, we didn't do enough, and I'll always be honest with that. You know what I mean? And I think that again, it's up to the individual to play well, but it's also up to the individual to influence around it. I suppose that was my frustration, not being able to influence. For example, Josh Brownhill, I thought spent far too much time outside the cage, as I call it, outside the central areas of the pitch. So when we lost the ball, we couldn't swamp, frenzy, close the net, whatever you want to call it, quick enough. And it played into their hands because 2 quick passes and they were suddenly 1-on-1 or 2v2 with our back line. So again, a little bit frustrating that obviously being up there is like a bad dream almost, and you can't influence it as much as you can pitch side.
And Palmer and O'Dowda to come off at half time, were those two of the guys you thought were looking leggy?
I did. I thought Cal looked a bit leggy. I'm so used to seeing Cal, and he put in a right shift against Norwich. I'm so used to seeing him like fly across the ground and do you know what I mean, eat up the ground if you like. And I just, there was 2 or 3 breaks that I was looking at from up there, and it was almost like he was clawing away with his hands to try and get to that top speed, and couldn't quite do it. But then I spoke to him after, and he said no, he felt absolutely fine. So could have been mental, could have been physical, but like I said before, you got to do something. Do you know what I mean? There's no point in, could have said, all right, you boys have got 5 minutes, but at that point I couldn't see the change. I thought we needed to get somebody closer to Famara, and at that point I've got to make a decision. Somebody's got to come off. You know what I mean? If I'm going to put another striker on, someone's got to come off the pitch. So again, Casey Palmer's done fantastic for us. He's won us 2 or 3 games coming on as a sub on his own, and his challenge is to perform like he does off the bench when he starts.
Just on Frankie, how long is he out for, do you think?
I couldn't give you a defined answer at the moment. I haven't had enough time. I think we got the X-ray back, or the scan today. Obviously, it's been an important part of today is to match prep, and I couldn't give you the defined answer. My guess would be somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks, depending on how serious it is and what he's got to have done inside.
Training, did it?
No, he's had it for a couple of weeks. He's been playing with it, to be fair to him, but it just got to the point where it was just too much, and it's probably got a little bit worse than when it happened originally.
Lee, is it worse viewing from the stand than it is on the touchline when you see those things going wrong? You get a better picture. I know you can't do anything about it, but
yeah, look, it's the first time I've done it. I'll be honest. Obviously, given the way we performed, I didn't enjoy it. Because I mean, I wanted to enjoy it, but I did feel frustrated because I think if I'd have been down there, I'd have probably upset a few to try and spark a bit of a reaction. You know what I mean? They might have hated me for 10-20 minutes, but they know I love them really. So I remember my old man's a good example. When I was playing and not playing well, he used to wind me up because he used to look at me and say, "Oi, you little, get your effing legs going," and that always sparked me into a sprint or a shot or a tackle or whatever that may be. So obviously, when you're up there, you can't do that. But I don't think that I don't think it made a difference. I can't claim that we're a better side with me on the touchline than we are with me up there.
Seeing it, how it must.
Yeah, seeing it. Yeah,
because you saw it more.
It's frustrating. Yeah, you see it more, but more importantly, you see every action that's wrong from every player. So the goal's a good example. We don't close in on the first goal. Like, we've got to clear it. Like, too lackadaisical, if you like. Don't close in, and there's an inevitable ending to what was poor defending. poet and I don't know.
It's a bit of a big question, and you don't have to answer this one. But I mean, looking at your attacking at home and your forward line, do you think that in the transfer dealings that you've made through the season and from last year, you might be a striker short? Is that a fair point? I
think we are where we are, mate. I think like financially, like it's phenomenal what we're doing. Really, do you know what I mean? To be at 6th place in the league after this amount of games, with where we are financially, you know. So we get the very best out of what we've got, and we do that by the training that we do. We do that by the sports science that we do. The staff work their socks off. The players work their socks off. We sign good characters. I mean, you've got to look at some of these clubs in the division, like 17th, 18th, that have like come down from the Premier League and like spent like over 50 million. Do you know what I mean? There's 2 or 3 of them really in the squad. So I just believe that they're a really, really good bunch of lads, really good bunch of players. We've got to allow them the dip because we haven't got the luxury of guaranteed Premier League quality. We've got a hungry group that are going to have to learn their lesson. And to be fair to the lads, they've learnt their lesson at half-time and gone out and put in a good performance in the second half. And I think that's credit to the attitude, particularly if a couple of them were sort of a bit leggy.